I want to tell you about a patient of mine. For his privacy, we'll call him Richard. When Richard first walked into my clinic, he looked like a man who had already accepted his own funeral. He was 76 years old, a retired engineer, a man who had built bridges and commanded teams, yet he couldn't look me in the eye. His shoulders were slumped, not just from age, but from a profound and soul-crushing defeat. His wife of 50 years, he told me, had recently said something to him in a moment of frustration, something she probably didn't mean to be as cruel as it sounded. She had said, "It's like I'm living with a ghost," and Richard knew exactly what she meant. The intimacy, the connection, the simple physical spark that makes a man feel like a man had been gone for nearly a decade. He had tried the pills. He told me he felt a flicker of hope, followed by a wave of side effects, headaches, and a feeling of being chemically artificial. He had read about injections and whispered about pumps, and the very thought sent a chill of mechanical horror down his spine. He felt his manhood was not just failing, but was being medicalized, turned into a cold, clinical problem to be solved with a prescription pad or a device. He sat there, a man of immense dignity, and asked me a question that I've heard in 1,000 different ways from 1,000 different men. He looked up, his eyes finally meeting mine, and they were filled with a quiet desperation. He said, "Dr. Liam, is this it? Is this just the end of the road for me? Do I just have to accept being a ghost in my own home?" And the intensity of that question, the sheer weight of that quiet suffering, is precisely why I had to make this video today. Because what I told him, and what I am about to tell you, is a truth so simple, so powerful, and so criminally overlooked, that it borders on a conspiracy of silence. The solution he was looking for wasn't in a bottle, and it wasn't in a surgeon's toolkit. It was already inside him, waiting to be unlocked by one single thing. I am Dr. Liam, and for over 35 years, I've worked as a clinical urologist and men's health specialist. I've dedicated my entire professional life to the vitality and well-being of men, just like you. I've seen the trends, I've seen the fads, and I've seen the profound damage that misinformation and shame can do to a man's spirit. My mission here on this channel is to pull back the curtain on the things that are too often left unsaid in the sterile environment of a 15-minute doctor's appointment. We're going to talk about the things that matter, the things that keep you up at night, and we're going to do it with honesty and directness. So if you're a man over 60 or 70 who refuses to become a ghost, if you believe you deserve to feel vital, strong, and connected for the rest of your life, then I urge you to subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell. This isn't just about watching videos. It's about building a community of men who are taking back control of their health. We are a brotherhood of action, and I'm honored to have you with us. Now let's be clear about what we're going to accomplish together in this video. I am going to reveal the single most powerful exercise for achieving and maintaining rock-hard, natural, and spontaneous erections, especially for men over the age of 70. And here's the controversial part. It's an exercise that the multi-billion-dollar erectile dysfunction industry practically prays you never take seriously. Why? Because it's free, it's accessible, and it works not by creating an artificial temporary effect, but by fundamentally rebuilding the very systems in your body that create a powerful erection in the first place. It targets the root cause, not just the symptom. Mainstream medicine often skips over this, not because your doctor is malicious, but because they are trapped in a system that favors quick prescriptions over deep, lifestyle-based solutions. They don't have the time to explain the profound science behind what I'm about to share. But I do, and the price you pay for not knowing this information is not just a soft erection, it's a slow, silent decay of your entire cardiovascular system, your confidence, and the intimacy you share with your partner. So please, give me your full attention. The next few minutes could very well change the entire trajectory of your life. The great deception that has been played on men, especially men in their golden years, is the idea that the body is a machine with broken parts that need to be replaced or bypassed. Your erection fails, so you're given a pill that acts like a temporary bypass, forcing blood into the tissue. It's a chemical workaround. It doesn't fix the underlying problem. And what is that problem? In the overwhelming majority of cases for men over 60, the problem isn't the penis itself. The penis is just the messenger. The problem is the system that delivers the message, the intricate network of veins, arteries, and nerves that are responsible for carrying the lifeblood of your vitality. For decades, you've been led to believe the solution must be as complex and sophisticated as the problem feels. You see advertisements with complex diagrams and scientific-sounding jargon. They want you to feel like the solution is out of your hands, that it has to come from a lab, that you need their patented molecule to feel whole again. This is a deliberate and incredibly profitable narrative. They have conditioned us to look for the magic bullet, the instant fix, while quietly ignoring the foundational pillars of our own biology. The truth is that your body has a miraculous, built-in system for healing and rejuvenation. It wants to function correctly. The issue is that our modern, sedentary lifestyles have systematically shut this system down. We sit in chairs, we drive in cars, we watch television. We become progressively more still as we age, and in that stillness, our vascular health quietly begins to die. The arteries that feed your heart, your brain, and yes, your penis, become stiff and clogged. It's a slow, silent process. It's the reason a man's erection is often called the canary in the coal mine for his heart health. The failure to achieve an erection is your body's check engine light screaming at you that there is a systemic circulatory issue that needs to be addressed. And what I see in my clinic every single day are men who have been taught to just put a piece of black tape over that check engine light by taking a pill, ignoring the catastrophic engine failure that is just around the corner. The price they pay for this ignorance is devastating. It can be a heart attack, a stroke, or simply a life lived in that quiet, gray fog of disconnection that Richard described. They spend their final years feeling like a fraction of a man, all because they were never told the simple, powerful truth. So what is this one miraculous exercise? It is not some grueling, joint-destroying, high-intensity workout. It is not a complicated yoga posture or an expensive piece of equipment. The single most powerful exercise for a man over 70 to reclaim his erectile strength is brisk walking. Now, before you click away, before you say, "That's it? Walking? I've been walking my whole life," I need you to understand that you have likely never understood what true therapeutic walking is, nor the profound physiological cascade it unleashes within your body. This is not a casual stroll to get the mail. This is not a leisurely meander through the park. This is a specific, prescribed protocol of movement that, when done correctly and consistently, fundamentally transforms your vascular system from the inside out. Let's talk about the magic that happens. Your erections are dependent on a wonderful molecule called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the master signaling molecule for your blood vessels. When your brain sends an arousal signal, your nerves release nitric oxide into the endothelial lining of the arteries in your penis. This nitric oxide tells the smooth muscles in those arteries to relax, to open up wide. This relaxation is what allows a surge of blood to rush in, filling the spongy tissues of the corpora cavernosa and creating a firm, rigid erection. As we age, our body's natural production of nitric oxide declines. Furthermore, the endothelial lining of our arteries can become damaged and dysfunctional from years of high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and inflammation. It becomes less responsive to the nitric oxide that is produced. This is the core physical mechanism of most age-related erectile dysfunction. The signal is being sent, but the arteries can't or won't listen. This is where brisk walking changes everything. When you walk briskly, you increase the shear stress on the walls of your arteries. Imagine the blood flowing faster, rubbing against the inner lining of those vessels. This shear stress is the trigger, the stimulus that tells your endothelial cells to start producing more nitric oxide. It's like a workout for your arteries. You are literally retraining them to open up and respond again. A landmark study published in a leading cardiology journal showed that men who engaged in a regular walking program saw improvements in their endothelial function that were comparable to some medications. You are, in effect, turning your body into its own medicine factory. I had another patient, a man named George, who was 78. He was a former accountant, a man of numbers and logic. He came to me with a folder full of his test results, his blood pressure readings, his cholesterol numbers. He was on 3 different medications for his heart and blood pressure, and he had resigned himself to the fact that his sex life was over, a casualty of his cardiovascular condition. He told me, "Dr. Liam, the plumbing is just too old and clogged up." It's a simple matter of physics. He saw it as an irreversible decline. The price he was paying was a deep sense of finality. He loved his wife dearly, but their relationship had become one of quiet companionship rather than passionate partnership. I listened to him, looked at his numbers, and then I laid out the walking protocol for him. He was skeptical. It seemed too simple, too pedestrian. "Walking?" he scoffed. "Doctor, I've got serious hardware problems here." But he was a man of logic, so I appealed to that. I explained the science of nitric oxide, of endothelial function, of how walking would lower his blood pressure naturally and improve his insulin sensitivity. I told him to trust the process, to follow the protocol for just 90 days, and then come back and see me. He agreed, reluctantly. The first few weeks were challenging. He wasn't used to the pace, but he was disciplined. He got a simple watch to track his time and pace. Around the 6-week mark, his wife called my office. I thought something was wrong, but she was crying, tears of joy. She told me that one morning, for the first time in over 12 years, they had woken up and experienced true, spontaneous, early morning intimacy. She said, "I have my husband back." When George came in for his 90-day follow-up, he was a different man. He walked with a new energy. He wasn't just an accountant. He was the man who had taken control of his own biology. His blood pressure was down. He was working with his cardiologist to reduce his medication, and his erectile function, he said with a wide grin, was better than it had been in his 60s. He had rebuilt his own plumbing, not with a pill, but with his own 2 feet. Now it is absolutely critical that we define what brisk walking actually is. This is where most men get it wrong, and it's why they don't see the results. This is my specific protocol, the one I have used with thousands of men to achieve these life-changing results. First, we must talk about pace. Brisk walking is not a stroll. You should be walking at a pace where you can still hold a conversation, but you would rather not. Your breathing should be noticeably elevated. Your heart rate should be up. A good target for men over 70 is to aim for a pace where you reach about 50 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. A simple way to estimate this is to take 220, subtract your age, and then calculate the percentage of that number. But an even simpler way is the talk test. If you can sing an opera, you're going too slow. If you can't get a few words out, you're going too fast. You want to be right in that sweet spot of effort. Second is duration. The goal is to accumulate 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walking, at least 5 to 7 days a week. You must be consistent. This is non-negotiable. You cannot do this for 1 week and expect a miracle. You are literally remodeling your vascular system, and that takes time and dedication. If you are very out of shape, do not be discouraged. Start with 10 minutes. The next week, aim for 12. The week after that, 15. The key is consistent, progressive improvement. The body will adapt and grow stronger, but you must give it the stimulus to do so. The price you pay for inconsistency is that you never allow the physiological adaptations to take hold. You'll get a little benefit, but you'll never cross the threshold into true rejuvenation. You have to treat these walks like a prescription. You wouldn't just take your blood pressure medication once in a while. You must treat this exercise with that same level of seriousness. Third, and this is a part that many people miss, is the technique. Walk with purpose. Stand up tall. Pull your shoulders back and down, away from your ears. Engage your core. This isn't just a leg exercise. It's a full body engagement. Let your arms swing freely. This helps to propel you forward and increase the cardiovascular demand. Focus on landing on your heel and rolling through to your toe. Wear good supportive shoes. Investing in a quality pair of walking shoes is one of the best investments you can make in your long-term health. Think of this as your appointment with yourself, your daily commitment to vitality. It's your time to reclaim your body. For many men, the idea of starting a new exercise routine can be daunting. I understand that. I had a patient, Frank, 82 years old, who used a cane. He said, "Doc, you want me to walk briskly?" I'm lucky I can walk at all. We started him incredibly slowly. His first brisk walk was simply walking to the end of his short driveway and back, 3 times a day. He used his cane. He went at a pace that felt challenging but safe for him. but he did it every single day. Slowly, he found his balance improving. He started walking to the end of the block, then around the block. 3 months later, he was walking for 20 minutes straight, and the cane was staying at home for most of his walks. He called the exercise his daily defiance. He was defying age, defying his limitations, defying the expectation that he should just quietly fade away. And yes, his circulation improved, his energy levels soared, and the physical intimacy with his wife, which had been a distant memory, began to return in small, tender, and meaningful ways. The key is to start where you are, not where you think you should be. And it's at this point in the video, where we're getting into the real heart of the matter, that I want to ask you to do something. The comment section below this video is a space for our community. It's a place for you to share your own stories, your own struggles, and your own questions. If you have a health concern or a topic you've been afraid to ask about, put it in the comments. I read them, and I use your feedback to decide what topics we need to cover in future videos, to make sure we're addressing the things that truly matter to you. Your voice is what shapes this channel, so take a moment to share your thoughts. You might be surprised at how many other men are feeling the exact same way you do. Let's support each other on this journey. Now, there is another layer to this that we absolutely must discuss, because the benefits of this one exercise go far beyond just the physical mechanics of blood flow. It has a profound impact on your hormones and your mental state, which are inextricably linked to your sexual vitality. Chronic stress is one of the silent killers of a man's libido and erectile function. When you are stressed, your body pumps out a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your fight-or-flight hormone, and in short bursts, it's useful. But the low-grade chronic stress that so many of us live with creates a constant bath of cortisol in our system. And here's the hard part. Cortisol is the direct enemy of testosterone and erectile function. It puts your body in a state of emergency, and in a state of emergency, things like rest, digestion, and procreation are put on the back burner. Your body literally says, "We don't have time for an erection right now, we're trying to survive." Brisk walking is one of the most powerful, scientifically proven ways to reduce cortisol levels. The rhythmic nature of walking, the deep breathing, the connection with your environment, it is a form of moving meditation. It flushes the cortisol out of your system and allows your body to return to its rest and digest state, the state where healing and arousal can actually happen. Furthermore, this type of sustained, moderate exercise has been shown to improve mood and combat depression, often as effectively as antidepressant medication for mild to moderate cases. When you feel better mentally, when you feel more confident and less anxious, your desire naturally increases. You cannot separate the mind from the body. A man's most powerful sexual organ is his brain. When your brain is clouded with worry and stress, the signals for arousal become weak and distorted. By committing to this daily walk, you are not just clearing out your arteries, you are clearing out your mind. You are creating the hormonal and neurological environment where a powerful, confident erection is not just possible, but expected. It becomes your natural state once again. So let's bring this all together. I know we've covered a lot, but it is so critically important. The world wants to sell you a complicated, expensive, and often temporary solution to a problem that has a simple, powerful, and permanent answer. The fatigue, the disconnection, the loss of intimacy that you may be feeling is not a mandatory sentence for growing older. It is the result of a system that has become clogged and a signal that has been ignored. The solution, the single most powerful exercise to reclaim your erectile vitality, is consistent, daily, brisk walking. It is your key to unlocking your body's own internal pharmacy, to producing the nitric oxide that opens your arteries, lowers your blood pressure, and sends a life-giving surge of blood to where it matters most. It is your tool for flushing out the stress hormones that are silently killing your desire, and for rebuilding your confidence from the ground up. I want you to think back to my patient, Richard, the man who felt like a ghost in his own home. He embraced this simple protocol. He started walking every single day. He started with 15 minutes, then 20, then 45. He told me that at first he was just doing it for the physical benefit he hoped to get, but then something shifted. He started noticing the world around him again. He started feeling the sun on his face. He started feeling a sense of strength and purpose returning to his body. About 4 months into his journey, he came back to my office, but not for an appointment. He just stopped by to tell me something. He said, "Dr. Liam, the erections came back. They're not what they were when I was 20, but they are here, and they are real. But that's not the most important part." He leaned in and he said, "The most important part is that I don't feel like a ghost anymore. And that is the true power of this. It's not just about sex, it's about life. It's about feeling present, vital, and engaged in your own story until the very end." So my challenge to you today is this. Make one small change. Don't think about the next year. Just think about tomorrow. Tomorrow, put on a pair of shoes and walk, briskly, for just 10 minutes. That's it. Make that one small promise to yourself, because that first step is the most powerful one you will ever take. Thank you for your time and your trust. If this message resonated with you, please subscribe and become part of our community. You are not alone on this journey, and together we are stronger.